would you ever consider making a top 10 of your favorite Final Fantasy games and another one of the most underrated games in the series, in your opinion? I could do that right now. Doesn't have to be a video. It's going to be kind of an incomplete list, though, because like I said, I haven't played all of them. So yeah, I'd rather wait to do that until like I actually finish this Let's Play and play like all the games. But right now, Final Fantasy VII is obviously my favorite. It's the one I grew up on. It's the one that changed my opinion on gaming. It's my baby. And then, as we said before, Final Fantasy X is my second favorite. Final Fantasy IX probably be my third favorite. And then Final Fantasy XII, Final Fantasy XIII, Final Fantasy VIII, somewhere. I'm not really a big fan of Final Fantasy VIII. I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. And then maybe Final Fantasy I. Which ones are underrated? I think if I had to pick the most underrated Final Fantasy game, it'd be 12. Yeah, without a doubt, 12. I think Final Fantasy 12 is a fantastic game. Like, not just, hey, it's good. Like, I think it's really good. And I think when Zodiac Age comes out, a lot of people are going to buy it and realize how good it was. But I think Final Fantasy 12 got a little undershadowed because up until, not including Final Fantasy 11, every Final Fantasy up to Final Fantasy 12 was turn-based, and then when Final Fantasy 12 came out, it was like, oh, we're going to try this new thing where it's kind of turn-based, but you also walk around, and like, in my opinion, I feel like more than half of the Final Fantasy community said screw that and didn't buy it. And I don't know what the actual statistics are, but at least to me it seemed like everyone that I knew in school that loved Final Fantasy, when Final Fantasy 12 came out, I was like, yo, how you liking Final Fantasy 12? And they're like, we didn't buy it because it's stupid. And, you know, I think they just... And it's funny because, like, the turn-based thing, again, you know, they moved away from turn-based because they thought that's where the future of gaming was. And everyone got pissed about it, and then what'd they do in Final Fantasy 13? They didn't make a turn-based, like, they continued to change things. And that's fine, because I like the fact that Square's always trying new things. But it's funny to me that a lot of people didn't buy Final Fantasy XII, at least it seems like a lot of people didn't buy it. But Final Fantasy XII was an amazing game. The adventure was so amazing. The only thing that I don't like about Final Fantasy XII is the story, and I don't think it's a bad story, I just personally couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was, I tried to get into it, and I didn't understand it, and it wasn't interesting enough for me to, like, sit there and try to understand it, so I just kind of didn't get it. And that was it, and I didn't try too hard to get it. But the adventure was awesome, the hunts were amazing, it had some of the greatest boss battles in video game history, in my opinion. Like, they finally made a Final Fantasy game where, well, I guess that's unfair, because Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon were, like, super bosses, but they finally made a game where, like, they were true super bosses. Like, the final hunt, I can't think of his name at the moment, he had 1,000,000 HP, and you can only deal 9,999 damage, so it took like hours to beat him, and he was just like such a cool boss. And then the other hunts, like, he wasn't even the coolest one though. The coolest one was the final summon. That battle was like so intense and so awesome. And just everything about that game was like so great, and I loved the looting system, and I loved all the secrets, and it was a great game. And I would go to the ends of the earth telling people to try it out. But anyone out there that skipped over Final Fantasy XII because they felt like it wasn't the same as the other Final Fantasies, I urge you, when this Zodiac Age comes out, or whatever it's called, I'm pretty sure it's Zodiac Age. Is it Zodiac Age? I'm going to look it up right now just so I can stop asking you. Yeah, Zodiac Age. I was right. Anyways, when that game comes out, give it a try. Okay? I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's such a good game. And then all sorts of cool, like, shout-outs to the original games. and it's a great game. So I would say that's probably the most underrated Final Fantasy game in the series. I think below that is probably Final Fantasy 13, because I know a lot of people... I know Final Fantasy 13 gets a lot of flack, but I still think it's a good game. But I wouldn't call it the most underrated, because it does have problems, and I don't really say that it's one of the best. So I wouldn't really call it the most underrated. I think it's one of the most hated. But I wouldn't call it the most underrated, because it does have problems, and it's not a perfect game. I think it's fun for what it is, but it's definitely not one of the best of the series. I'd be willing to say that 12 is one of the best of the series. I really think it's a great game. I think anyone that is looking to play some Final Fantasy games they've never played before, I would highly recommend playing that before playing something like this. Which, I don't have a good enough opinion of this game yet, but just playing it, for a couple hours, I can tell that Final Fantasy 12 would be a much better experience for anyone, like, in today's era. Because this game, it's a little hard to get into, being, like, an older game, unless you're into this kind of thing. But I think, what I'm trying to say is, I think Final Fantasy 12 is good for today's age. Like, the fact that they're remastering it, I think is a good idea. If they remastered this, I don't think many people would play it. But remastering 12, I think it fits well with the games of today's era. I think it actually, I don't think it's outdated at all. Not to say that these games are outdated, but it's just, I think only hardcore Final Fantasy fans would play a Final Fantasy II remastered. Whereas I think anyone could get into Final Fantasy 12 remastered, even not fans of Final Fantasy. So... yeah, I'm not trying to say that these games are outdated or bad or anything. They certainly are great, but only hardcore fans are going to go back and play these old Final Fantasy games. But 12 is a little less outdated. It's more like the games of today's era. Also, you're out of MP. That's a bad thing. We're all out of MP. That's not good. Let's see. Matthew. By the way, Tetra BBM asked that last question. Sorry, I forgot to say your name. Matthew asked, I have a question. Are there any games coming out either this year or next year you're looking forward to? I was looking at that the other day, and I forget, I came up with a little list. I don't remember exactly all the games on the list. But I think maybe the one I'm looking forward to the most, actually, is Final Fantasy 15. I had a video where I played the demo and I made fun of it and stuff, but that's not to say I think the actual game is going to be bad or anything. I just think that demo was a poor synopsis of the game. After watching the gameplay videos of the actual game, I just think that demo was kind of crappy. And it was fun to make fun of it, so whatever. Don't take me too seriously. But the actual game looks great, and I'm really looking forward to the special edition, which I pre-ordered because it comes with the movie Kingsglaive as well. And I'm really excited to watch that and watch the movie and play the game right next to it. Will be a really cool experience, I think. And I think it'll be fun, even if it's not a perfect game, and even if it's not, as reminiscent of the old Final Fantasies. I still think it'll be fun. It'll be great to play a PS4 Final Fantasy, because that's truly what I've been looking forward to for a while. And although it's not the same game that was teased a long time ago, when the E3 came out where they released the PS4 and they did a little trailer of Final Fantasy 15 or whatever it was they did a trailer of, it just said Final Fantasy or whatever. But it had that cutscene of the girl in the church, and there was a fight. That got me so stoked for PS4 Final Fantasy. Whether or not it's action RPG, turn-based RPG, whatever. Just PS4 Final Fantasy. That got me so hyped for that. Just seeing the characters in amazing HD quality and seeing what they can do on the new console, it just kind of excited me, and I was really stoked for it. So I've been stoked for Final Fantasy 15 for a long time, even though I played the demo and made fun of it and whatever. I've been secretly awaiting the time when I finally get to play Final Fantasy 15. And it sucks that they delayed it, but things happen, I guess. Usually, I'm not that mad about delays, because it just means they're making a better game. Thank you so much for saving my daughter. Boarhen threatened me into lying, so I just couldn't tell you the truth. If there is anything I can do to help you, just let me know. The cabin behind Summit Malls is an old mine. What? So, oh, I have to give him Mithril. Right. This game is so weird. You must hurry and take it back to Princess Hilda. She is waiting for you. She's the... Oh yeah, right. He was just telling me where the Mithril was. I have to actually take the Mithril to the princess. Also, I should probably sleep in that inn. Should probably do that. So yeah, I talked about this before. I don't remember if it was in the Let's Play or if it was on stream, but I'm usually okay with companies delaying games because it just means they're taking more time to do it correctly. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying when Square delays games because they just work on so many games at the same time that you know if they're delaying a game, it's because they're working on other crap. And it's like, just finish a game, Square. Like, please. Of all the games, you know, you have going on all at the same time, just finish one of them. Like, any of them. We would all be okay with Final Fantasy 15. We'd all be okay with Kingdom Hearts 3. We'd all be okay with Final Fantasy 7. Like, any of them would be great. Just finish one of them. You know? Like, please. Stop making games like Nier, who has, like, a really good fan base, but at the same time isn't like the ones that you really advertise. Let's see. Anthony asked, who made a better bad guy, Sephiroth or Kefka? We actually had this discussion on stream yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. On Monday's stream, we talked about bad guys. Because I was talking about how evil of a guy Hojo is, and how much more evil he is than Sephiroth. Sephiroth really isn't evil. He is, but he isn't. He gets confused and thinks that Jenova is his mother, and so because of that he goes crazy and does what his mother tells him to, which is try to destroy the world. You can't necessarily say he's like not a bad guy though, because he kills a bunch of people on his way to go see his mother for like no reason other than the fact that he's insane. Like that, Jenova doesn't tell him to burn down Nibelheim. He just does it because he wants to. So like he's definitely evil. But most of the stuff he does is because he thinks he's doing it for his mother. I guess I have to pay Sid to like take me there. Oh, actually, I could take the boat, couldn't I? I could just take the boat. Or wait, no, I can't take the boat. I'd have to pay someone to do the boat. Let's see. Yeah, I'd have to pay someone to take me here, and then I could... Yeah. Or I could just tell Sid to, like, send me there on the airship, but... Let's go to Bloom. That's really cheap. So yeah, most of the stuff that Sephiroth does isn't really out of evilness, per se. So I guess to answer your question, Kefka would definitely be more evil. I don't claim to know a lot about Kefka, but I know that most of the stuff he does is just because he's legitimately evil. So he's a pretty bad dude. A real good question would be, who's more evil, Hojo or Kefka? Because Hojo is like the most evil character in like anything I've ever read in my whole life. Like legitimately the only reason he does anything is because he wants to see how bad things can get for other people. Like that's legit. Like, oh, you could say that a lot of what he does is for science, but it's not really. Like when you talk to him, he's just like, I want to see what happens if everyone dies. Like he's just so evil, like just oozing with evilness. Like there's no good thing about Hojo. Everything he does is just like, let's see what happens if these people die. Let's see what happens if I experiment with these people. I mean, he's just super, super evil. Like, I can't even begin to describe how evil he is. So that would be a good question for discussion. Oh, I need to answer this text message. Okay. I had to answer that text message because someone was asking me if we're still on for a meeting. The Empire suffered considerable losses in the last great battle in Fynn. To make up for them, the Imperials are now building the Dreadnought in Bafsk. The Dreadnought is massive. The Dreadnought is massive, heavily armed airship. That's not grammatically correct. The Empire has enslaved the people of Bafsk to construct it. Is that Mithril? Wonderful. Please go to the weapon shop and give it to Tobul. This is marvelous. Now we can fight the Empire on more equal ground. You're welcome, Queen. Wait, who's this guy in the corner? I don't remember him. Going to Salamand, are you? Go to the eastern port of Paloon to find a ship that will take you there. I've already done that, man. I did talk to him, I remember now. To the weapon shop! Question, what Final Fantasy game do you think has the best character design and world design? I'd probably say 10. 7, well, depends on what you mean by character design. If you mean by, like, actual, like, design of the physical character, I'd probably say 10. Because 10 has a lot of unique characters that you can kind of tell right off the bat, like, why they're unique. Isn't this the weapon guy? Oh, wait, this dude? Here we go. I'm only a worthless old geezer. Well, now, is that mithril in your hands? Good job, laddie. Now I can forge swords, and I have spears and shields, all better than ever. I thought you said you're an old fart. That didn't take long. Buy my weapons and armor at the shops. Oh, this is exciting. Ooh. Buy me that mithril sword. Damn. It's pretty strong. You know what? I should give Gus. So yeah, like, in terms of character design, like, if you're talking about, like, the actual physical look of the characters, I'd say 10. If you're talking about, like, their stories, I would say 7 all the way. 7 just has so much amazing character development. Almost every character in that game has, like, an incredible story of how they've developed throughout the game and become someone different by the end. What do we do now? I hear the Dark Knight leading the Dreadnought's construction is quite an extraordinary man. Fortunately for us, he was called back to Palamisia. Is that how you say that? Palamisia. That's a weird word. Perhaps they are scrambling after the loss of the Mithril. This is our chance to infiltrate the Dreadnought and destroy it. One of our comrades in Bafsk has found a way into the Dreadnought. Please go and destroy it. So we have to go to Bafsk. Even delaying its completion would be an immense help. You and Mindu can do it. I have faith in you. Alright, let's do it. To Bafsk. I like saying that. Bafsk. It's a fun word to say. How do I get out of this town? There we go. Oh, in world design, I would say 10 all the way. like I was saying before, the languages and the amount of work they put into like each town to have its own like history, it's just like incredible. Final Fantasy VII is pretty good too, but I would say 10 has like an incredible world design in my opinion. And it has its own name and like its own history, and it just makes sense, and it's easy to like. 7 has like such an intense backstory, but it takes a lot to learn it. You don't really get it all just by playing the game once. But 10, you understand the world so well, and you feel like you could live in this world like it's a real world by the end of the game. Although it's hard to say, like, it's hard to speak out against 7 though, because 7 has such an incredible design with like the live stream. I still think it's one of the coolest ideas for a world design ever, is like how the live stream works. So that's my opinion. With the remake of 7 and 15 coming out soon, do you plan on doing a Let's Play of the games? And if so, which would you do first? I won't do a Let's Play of the games until I get to them in this Let's Play. But when 15 comes out, and when the remake of 7 comes out, I will most likely live stream them, which in turn will probably go on YouTube. So you'll see me playing them. I just won't do an actual like Let's Play like this. Actually, you know, maybe I would. I don't know. It depends. I think with 15, I'll probably just play it on stream whenever I can and play it off stream as well. But for the remake of 7, I might do like a full complete Let's Play of it. Just because I know everyone will be excited to see it. There'll be a lot to talk about and stuff. So, I would probably actually do that. So far, which do you think is harder, Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 2? Big fan, by the way. Keep up the awesome work. Thanks, Charlie Davis. I would say this one is probably harder. Final Fantasy 1 wasn't that hard until you got to the Ice Cave, and then for some reason the Ice Cave was just impossible. But there's also certain things you can do in 1 to make things easier, like cast certain spells over and over that kind of like break the damage of characters. And apparently in this one you can just pretend to attack everything and level up super quickly, so that can make this game easier too. But if you don't do that, this game is a little frustrating because you can just run into super powerful enemies on accident. Oh, alright. But it definitely seems like they upped the difficulty in this one. But it also seems like if you grind, really grinding in this game seems to like really help out. Whereas in Final Fantasy 1, leveling up didn't do like a ton for you, and it took forever to level up. Well, leveling up did do a lot for you, but it took forever. In this game, like if you know you need like more attack, then you can just attack things and get more attack. If you need more magic, you can use magic on things and get more magic, which is kind of a cool feeling. You know, in Final Fantasy 1, if you needed something, you just had to keep leveling up till you like got it. But in this game, whatever you need, you can actually work towards getting that exact thing, which is kind of cool. Machine airship. Oh my god. I forget where which building Sid is in. He's not in the item store, is he? Oh, he's in the pub. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yo, 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 Sid. See if I have any other questions. Question: do you read? If so, who is your favorite author and why? What genre? Marcus Creel. Thanks for commenting. I don't read as much as I used to, which is really a thing that I want to fix. I used to love reading so much when I was in school, and I had time to read. Now I feel like I never have time to read, which is not true. I do have time to read, I just don't. That's just kind of my excuse. I see. That's the Dreadnought. See, that's what it is. I was wondering what that thing was. It's the Dreadnought. We need the Dark Knight. So are these guys like not gonna fight me because the Dark Knight is in here? Move it. Finish its construction as quickly as your pathetic selves can. In the world. Okay, so there's someone here I need to talk to that's gonna help me figure out how to get to the Dreadnought. But yeah, let's see. The last book I read, which I haven't finished yet, is called The Rook. It's a really good book. It's a really interesting book. It's about people with like crazy special powers and how the government deals with it. There's like a secret government agency that has a bunch of people with superpowers, and they use their powers to like help other people who find their powers and make like this super army to defend the country against other this other force that like tries to kill people. It's very complicated, but it's not like a superhero book, like, because I don't really like superheroes that much. It's like another way of looking at superpowers. Like, instead of being like superheroes, it's these people that like have these powers but they don't know what to do with them. And it's funny because like the superpowers are really weird too. It's not just like super strength. They have like really strange superpowers, and that's what makes the book so interesting. Like, there's this one girl that like her hair gets people high. That's her superpower. If you eat her hair, you get high, and that's her power. like it's crazy. And the girl that you follow, but then like also the girl that you follow has like this crazy story where she loses her memory and she has to like remember how to do her job, and she's like one of the highest people. She's a rook in the group, in the government agency, I guess. And she's like a super high up respected individual, but she doesn't remember how to do her job because she lost her memory. So she has to like remember how to do her job so that no one knows that she lost her memory, so she can figure out who stole her memory, because it's someone on the inside that stole her memory. It's crazy. It's like, it's really, really a cool, interesting book. Can I like... What? Ever since General Borgin came as the Dark Knight's replacement, it's been easy for us here. But he sure seems like an idiot. Oops, you never heard that. Ah, comrades, I wasn't able to move around when the Dark Knight was commanding this operation. Borgin is only a pig-headed fool. He doesn't care about anything but himself. You must be here to destroy the Dreadnought. I'm a spy for the rebel forces, an ally of yours. You'll find an entrance to the sewers ahead. It should lead you to the Dreadnought. Well, enough talk. Don't want to rouse suspicion. Good luck. Alright, figured it out. Of course, it's the guy in the corner. The guy in the corner has all the answers. Maybe I should save before I come down here. Ooh, interesting music. Ooh, chest. There's also this other book I'm reading right now that is about, it's not, I wouldn't even really call it a book. It's like a little tiny book, but it's not like a novel. It's like a little tiny book, but it's about, fallacies in people's speech. So like the straw man argument, like argument fallacies, and it's really interesting, and it's cool to learn about that kind of stuff, so like you can call people out when they say things incorrectly. But yeah, I used to be a big reader, and now I don't read as much, and it makes me sad. So I need to read more.